Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial independence through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate portfolio, then let's get started.
Here is the one simple move that made a huge difference in my real estate investing journey. It's not a strategy, it's not a spreadsheet, and honestly, it's not even a secret investing hack. It's simply getting in the right rooms. Yup, putting yourself around the right people. Understanding who you can learn from, understanding who you're able to build those relationships from. This, for me, was an absolute game changer in my real estate investing journey. Why is that? You've probably heard before that real estate investing is a team sport. And to be honest, it is completely true. It's one of the things that I love about building and bringing women together in our Lady Landlords community. It really, truly does take a village. And I still see so many women, even in our community, talk about how they are trying to do it completely on their own or how they feel alone in that situation. And in this episode today, we are going to change that, okay? We are going to start talking about, in today's episode, why getting in those right rooms really can accelerate your growth and your ability to scale in real estate investing. Today, we're also going to talk about why trying to figure it out all on your own is going to be the thing that's going to keep you stuck in the place where you are now. And I'm going to share two different ways on how you can start connecting with other women in the Lady Landlords community. So our episode today is going to be a little bit of mindset, a little bit of strategy, and also part invitation to start plugging into some of the events that we offer every single month in Lady Landlords. But let's start with you first, okay? Now, I'm very fortunate that every single day I get to connect with Lady Landlords. I get to hear where they are, what they're working on. I get to know them. And I love doing that because I myself am a Lady Landlord. And I've gone through this for years now since buying my first property back in 2018. And there are definitely trends that I see amongst our community. For example, you are smart. You are looking for something outside of just a 9-to-5 and hopefully retiring with a 401k. You are looking to be financially savvy. You're always going through looking to increase what your financial literacy look like. You are spending time doing personal development. You're listening to podcasts like this one. You're reading books on different topics. You're probably in a few Facebook groups, not just the Lady Landlords Facebook group, but there's probably others that you are spending time in to learn, to connect. But so many women in our community still say they feel stuck and they feel alone. What's interesting is that I've noticed it's usually not purely because of the information. It's usually not a lack of knowledge that actually holds our members back. But it's usually the not having the right connection, okay? And I see this even more when it comes to financing, when it comes to scaling. But our members, we don't need more knowledge. We don't need more information. We don't need more time to Google. We really need more guidance. We need more community. We need more situations of, this is actually how this works in real life. Let's plug in and let's do this. And sometimes we can actually do this together. What I see over and over again within our community, though, is, I don't know if this is a good deal. Hey, I bought this. I don't know if the numbers are right. Well, should I make this decision or should I make this decision? Okay, well, I made the first decision, but now I'm not sure if I should go which way. I see people second guessing themselves all the time. I see women come every single day to our community with questions because there's not really another place to get the answers to some of these situations, right? Landlording is not a traditional business. There's no boss. You are the boss. But I get that we don't want to be dealing with people where we feel or we don't have the confidence to speak about our situation. And that doesn't just even mean the lender, the realtor. We want to go into those conversations absolutely feeling very comfortable in what we're saying and that we're feeling educated in our decisions. But even when we talk to tenants, right? When we have to make a decision with the tenant, are we charging them for something at the move out and taking monies out of their security deposit? Or are we going to let that slide? Even that conversation, we need to come to that with that confidence. Otherwise, people will be able to pick up on doing that. But instead, what happens, instead of plugging in, instead of finding that community, instead of using those connections, women will sit there and go through that analysis paralysis. We get stuck. Well, since I don't know this and I don't know the right person to be able to support me with it, I guess I'll do nothing. And that, to be honest, is costing you even more. We see a lot of women that are very worried about either losing life savings. Totally get that. Or losing really any money in this. We're supposed to be investing. We're supposed to be making money in that decision. But when I speak to women that have wanted to invest for years, and we talk about just these small, simple little changes that they can make that all of a sudden could be bringing in a few $100s a month, right? So figure $500 a month, that's what, $6,000 a year. If you've been wanting to do this for 2 years, you've lost out on $12,000. Right? If you wanted to do this for 4 years, you've lost out on $24,000. And that's continuously compounding the longer that you wait to be able to get into it. So what can we do that would be different? Well, gaining that confidence and growing is not something you're going to be able to get out of a book. It comes from the conversations. It comes from getting out there and learning and speaking to other people that are out there doing this, that's going to give you the ability to do the exact same thing. When we bought our first property in 2018, I got to be honest, the first property, pretty easy, right? I was that accidental landlord. The first property that we bought was a house hack. My husband and I were going to be living in part of the house in one of the units because it was a duplex, and we rented out the other side. Nice and simple. Luckily, I did ask some questions about the real estate investing point, but that was not the goal of why I bought that duplex. That was a place for me to live. I needed my own space. And there were things that just my husband and I were looking for, and it made finding that first property really easy, to be honest. But at that closing, when we closed on that property, and I got a check at the closing table after signing hundreds of documents and giving over my life savings to be able to buy this place, at the very end of that closing, I got a check back. And I was like, what is this for? And they said, well, that's for the tenants that are living there. This is their month's rent. And I was like, I'm already getting money back? You've got to be kidding me. We then moved in. First of the month rolls around. Same thing. Got a check. And I'm still unpacking boxes. And yet we're already earning money. I became hooked on this. And this was something I knew that I wanted to do again. And I wanted to scale this portfolio. But I had everybody around me saying, nope, can't do it. Nope, you have to be able to save. You have to wait. You have to save. Oh, it's going to take you years. Once again, I'm buying in New York. Looking at a $500,000 property, I need, what, $100,000 to be able to invest in investment property? It's going to take me a little while to be able to save that. I wanted to be able to scale, and I wanted to do it sooner. All of a sudden, I realized that this is a path that I really could take. So what I started to do at the very beginning was I just started going to any event that I could possibly find. At that time, it was really my way of learning. I was reading books, I was listening to podcasts, and that's cool. I could go when I was able to learn, and I remember listening to all these podcasts about hard money lending. Oh, go get hard money. Oh, you could just buy anything with that. Don't worry, really easy, refinance out, pull money out. They make it sound so simple. And to be honest, it's one of the things that I try to do differently on the Lady Landlords podcast, because I felt like I would listen to those other episodes and I was like, there's got to be some catch. Like, these people just make it seem like it's so easy to do these things. And that's why I try on our podcast. It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast. But that's one of the reasons why so many of our podcasts are how-to, and why I interview so many people that are experts in their own fields. Because after listening to all these podcast episodes on hard money lending, it didn't actually tell me what I needed to do. And there's so much that I learned about it since then. And that was really because I would go to meetups. I remember going, and anybody that I would meet that said that they were in hard money, I was like, great, can we find a time to sit down and talk? I just want to learn how this works. I wasn't sure if it was going to be an option for me. And before jumping in and committing to something, I needed to say, I need to learn some more information about this. I needed to do the same thing with wholesaling. I needed to do the same thing with investing in state, locally, or if I wanted to go out of state. I really used those early meetups as my way of taking that textbook information that I got either from a book or that I got from a podcast and said, let me go talk to the people that are actually out there doing it, that are using these things, and figure out how to really implement them into practicality. At the beginning, it was really my way to learn. Now, though, as I've grown, going to networking events is how I'm able to expand. I'm happy to say that actually last week, I went to my first networking event in a little bit of time. last year, when I probably did more rehabs in 2025 than I had done ever before in my real estate investing journey. That definitely took up quite some time. We moved to a new area. We ended up having to renovate our whole house. I had a baby. So, there were just some things that networking unfortunately fell a little bit lower on my priority list. I still ran our events here for Lady Landlords, so I'm really happy that I was still able to connect with women within our community. But I like to go to other people's too. So last week I was able to go to my first networking event in person that somebody else was running in a really long time, to be honest. And now I'm doing this in a new area. What I thought was really cool is I walked in and two people standing at the door I have known for years. And I was so excited for them to be able to just give them a hug and say hi and just catch up with what was going on and what they were working on. So already just having those people that were there, I'm now in a completely new market and I have allies telling me about different places and what strategies have been working for them. And people that I've known I've known for years, but they've been investing for even longer than that. I also was able just to connect with some new people. And it was really great to still exchange old school business cards, something that I absolutely still love doing and actually collect. But it was really nice to be able to have that mix of new blood in there. And even though I made a podcast episode a few weeks ago about how my goal is actually to not buy any more real estate in 2026, but to really focus on stabilizing the properties that I already have. So if you have not listened to that episode, feel free to go back and take a listen. But for me, it was really nice, though, to still hear some of these other strategies. Maybe there's still a way that I can support other people growing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to buy real estate. For example, private lending. I can fund other people's deals. So it was really nice to be able to hear what projects people have in their pipelines or what they're going to be working on in case there's something that maybe instead of me actually buying another property, doing more renovations, dealing with another set of tenants right now, maybe I say, hey, listen, this is a passive way for me to be able to invest. I'll loan out some funds since I'm not investing and I can do that then. And then I'll just recoup some of that interest. Maybe I have people that tell me all the time about different properties that they're selling or buying, and off-market properties have come to me so much more frequently as I've gotten known in this industry. Maybe I do a little bit of wholesaling on the side here over this next year. I have enough leads coming in, and I think I know some women that might possibly want to buy some property. There's other options of what we can do, and I loved the fact that really going to this networking event just re-energized me of saying that there's so much more that I can do within real estate and so many other ways that I can make money besides literally just buying a rental property and just collecting money. Now, I like that, and that is my bread and butter, but it's really nice to be able to really look at what I'm looking to do within my life right now, which is, once again, minimize time and to really be able to shift gears and maybe take on a new project or partner up with people in a different way. And that's what I think is so exciting about being able to connect with other people. Even if it was something that I don't want to do, I still want to learn about what other people are doing and what strategies are working for them. And also, then I get to come back and share that with you guys here in our Lady Landlords community. So how can you start to plug into a few different things? We have some really cool events coming up this year in 2025. I am going to email out, so hopefully you're on our newsletter list. If not, let me know down in the comments if you need to get on that newsletter list. But we are bringing back in-person events. We are doing monthly virtual events. I'm going to be in a couple different cities across the United States. And we are also doing our first international trip. So let me break this down for you. First, coming up this week on Thursday is the first Lady Landlords virtual networking event of the year. Now, why are we going to be doing this? Well, to be honest, if you've ever gone to a real estate meetup, one of the first things that you notice is when you get there is us Lady Landlords, we're going to be in the minority. There are usually a lot more men at these events. It could lead to feeling intimidated, especially if you're new. You can sometimes end up talking to people that honestly, their ego, you're just trying to figure out how it even got through the door. And then you also have a lot of people that are trying to pitch to you different projects or different things, and it takes away and it shifts what our focus is. Women tend to be people pleasers. When I have somebody that comes to me being like, oh, you should really consider this project, I already start like blending and molding and being like, maybe I can do what they're asking. How can I make this person happy by fulfilling what their request is? And I don't want us to do that. I want us to be in a spot where we can go in and we can feel confident. We can speak our mind. We can ask a question and not feel judged. We can say, hey, I have no idea what this strategy is that you guys are talking about. Can somebody possibly just break this down for me for a second? That's really hard to do in a room that you walk into if you don't know anybody, okay? And it definitely is going to be that way if you're the only female in the room. So I want to create really a safe space where we can come get the education we need, the knowledge that we need to feel confident so we can go back out there in that world and be like, yep, I do know that strategy and I can talk to anybody about it, all right? This is a space where I really want you to feel where you can ask questions and never feel judged. The whole goal of this event is to really feel supported, to get practical information. This is a no pitch call. There is no selling on it. And I will make sure of that with the other attendees. This is really a safe space to come for real conversations with other women, okay? This month's topic, we're going to be talking about making sure that you're using the right type of financing for you. I hear all the time, well, I would be able to grow, but either I don't have money, I don't know what type of financing I have, I don't know the qualifications, I don't know if I can get approved. We need to get those things sorted, okay? There are so many different ways that we can fund deals. Even if you feel like you have no money, a lot of times women actually do. A lot of times we actually can get approved for certain types of funding that people are just not familiar with, or that's just a different type of financing that they've used before. And we need to start understanding how those different processes are going to work. Okay. We're also going to make sure to have guided conversations in small breakout rooms. I keep these virtual networking events limited to space because I want to make sure that you can actually connect with people. This is not a networking call where you're just going to show up and there's going to be hundreds of people there, so you can just keep your camera off and your microphone off. No, you are going to be talking to other people, okay? I'm going to give you prompts. I'm going to make sure to match you up with people that are going to be really helpful. You're going to have cameras on. You're going to be able to talk. You're going to share names. You're going to actually get to know other people and start building those relationships. We're going to do some Q&A. We're going to talk strategy. We're going to talk deals. But the most important that you're going to leave with is realizing that you are not on your own with this. I have seen so many people go to these networking events and they stand in the corner, either talking to like the same one or two people every single time and doesn't make a difference. Well, I want to get you out of that. I want to make sure that you are going to hear from other people and say, hey, that was a great idea. Or what she's doing, I kind of want to look into that option. Or, hey, I made that connection. Now I know exactly how I'm going to be able to move forward. This is going to be perfect for you if you are just wrapping up the 21-day Lady Landlords Investor Kickstart. This is just going to be at the end of it. So great opportunity to, one, not lose momentum, but come with your questions. Come with maybe some of the obstacles that you got stuck on so we can make sure to get you through those steps, okay? And remember, too, if you joined the 21-day Investor Kickstart as a VIP member or you are a member of our inner circle, the virtual networking call is free. So come, join, connect. Perfect if you're also looking to figure out your next step or looking for some potential partners, looking to learn some new strategies, or if you just want to meet some other women that are actually out there doing this. Because sometimes, to be honest, the missing piece is in knowledge. It's proximity. And one small conversation can really change everything that you thought you knew about real estate. Second opportunity to come hang out with some Lady Landlords is going to be happening in March. At the end of March, a group of us Lady Landlords are going to be going down to the Dominican Republic for a property tour. This is something I've been wanting to do for years, but once again, that whole getting pregnant thing really kind of pushed this off from last year. So you may know I actually lived down in the Dominican Republic during the winters. I was a little delayed, still waiting for my daughter's passport, but I have it in hand and I am leaving in a week. So be ready. If you follow me over at the Becky Nova on my Instagram, you're going to be seeing a lot more beach pictures there because this winter has been brutal over here in New York. But if you want to just get out of the weather and just get some sun and some vitamin D over there, come on down. Otherwise, if you are looking to purchase abroad, it doesn't even have to be the Dominican Republic. We are going to be talking about the strategies of being able to buy anywhere in the world, okay? This is not just a trip. This is not just a vacation. This is not just looking at pretty properties. This is going to be an immersive experience to understand what needs to happen for you to own rental properties abroad, okay? I hear a lot of women that are interested in that short-term rental market. We have a lot of women that would love to have their vacations paid for and have a property that they can stay in when they're traveling, but then also rent it out when they're not there. Well, hello, that's what I do. We're going to be talking about those things. I'm going to be taking you guys to some new development sites. We're going to have lenders on site. We're going to have attorneys, real estate agents, every piece of the puzzle that you're going to need right there to ask questions to, get clarity, and to be able to make decisions. And once again, the information is going to be transferable, even if you're looking to buy in another country. But let's have some fun in the Dominican Republic, and let's all discuss it where it's warm. Okay? So that's going to be something that we are going to be looking forward to coming up in March. So if that is something that you're interested in, please make sure to reach out soon. Early bird pricing for that ends on February 15th. So you have about another 10 days or so if you would like to take advantage of that opportunity. Okay. So whether it's a virtual networking event, in-person retreats, or really just getting to learn how to use the Lady Landlords community in a stronger way, we have some of those options for you. Okay. Coming up the rest of the year, I'll put the dates once again in a newsletter later on, and I'll make a post in the Lady Landlords community. But we're going to be doing some in-person meetups in the Northeast. We're going to be out in Chicago, maybe a few other states. So stay tuned for that. But if either of these opportunities is something that you would like to consider, make sure to let us know. I put the links down in the show notes for our virtual networking event and also for the Dominican Republic property tour. But let me know down in the show notes. Drop virtual if you would like to join us Thursday night for that. Drop DR if you would like to join us for the property tour, so I can make sure to get you the information for those two things to register before they sell out. So even if you do not join any Lady Landlords networking events, I still do encourage you to see what's going on in your local market. Okay. If you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling unsure, if you just feel like you're doing this all alone, there is absolutely no reason for you to feel that way. There is a community around you. There are 55,000 plus women in the Lady Landlords Facebook community. You have women there. It just takes the decision for you to say you're going to plug in and show up. Now, I would love to see you in a room with me. I would love to get to know you because I truly believe that the right community can change everything. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of the Lady Landlords podcast. Please do make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next episode. We release new episodes every single Tuesday. And as always, if you have a moment, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Reviews help make sure that other women can also find our podcast and get the support and help that they are looking for. So if you have a minute, please pay it forward. Thanks so much, and see you all back in the Lady Landlords Facebook community.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlords.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.